Imagine this for a second. What if you had the power to shift everything in your relationships? What if, instead of chasing and proving yourself, you became the man they couldn't resist wanting more of? Sounds almost too good to be true, right? But here's the kicker. It's not only possible, but entirely within your control. The secret doesn't lie in trying harder or becoming what someone else wants. It lies in valuing yourself so deeply that chasing becomes a thing of the past. When you focus on you, the game changes. You reclaim your power, your worth, and, surprise, the respect you've been looking for. It's not about being distant and cold. It's about becoming solid and untouchable, the kind of man who doesn't need validation because he knows who he is. If you've been struggling to feel enough, if you're caught in the cycle of chasing love and approval, buckle up, because we're about to turn that mindset on its head with some practical, life-altering lessons rooted in stoicism and self-improvement. The pain of feeling not enough when you feel like you're not enough. It hurts in places words can't reach. It's like carrying a weight every day, always wondering when you'll finally measure up. You put your heart out there, give everything to your relationships, and somehow it often feels like it's never enough. This emotional cycle can leave you drained, questioning your worth, and worst of all, chasing after people who don't value you the way they should. Here's the twist, though. It's not about them. It's not about what they're doing or not doing. It's about you and how you see yourself. When you hinge your worth on someone else's reactions or approval, you set yourself up for heartbreak. Every time you try to prove your value by doing more, giving more, or chasing harder, you strip power away from yourself little by little. That's a truth we're not always ready to face. But listen, you can break this cycle. The first step is flipping the script and realizing that you set the standard for how others treat you. This isn't just about relationships. It's about every interaction in your life. Value yourself first, and others will take notice. The lie society sells here's the brutal reality. Society loves to sell us lies about what it means to win in relationships. You've heard them before, right? That cliché, happy wife, happy life nonsense. Or worse, the idea that the more you give and the harder you try, the more you're showing your worth. It's everywhere. In the movies, in advice from well-meaning friends, even in the stories we grow up with. But ask yourself this: when has chasing someone who's indifferent to you truly worked out? When has bending over backward for someone who barely lifts a finger in return made you feel fulfilled? Exactly. The problem with this narrative is that it sets you up to believe your value lies in your effort. The harder you try, the more you're worth. The more you chase, the more you'll earn love, attention, or respect. It's a lie that leaves you burned out. What society doesn't teach is that your worth was never tied to how much you do for someone else. Instead, your value comes from who you are and how deeply you respect yourself. Stop believing the lie that effort, worth. Start believing that the right relationships are balanced. Why chasing kills? Respect. Here's an uncomfortable truth. No. One likes to talk about chasing ruins respect. Think about it. The more you chase someone, the more they start to see you as less valuable. Why? Because when you chase, you're telling them you value them more than you value yourself. And the instant people sense that, they start pulling away. When you're constantly available, overly eager, or always putting someone else's needs above your own, it sends a message. It says, I'm not confident enough in myself to step back. Respect isn't built by chasing. It's built by showing that you're worth chasing. You earn respect by stepping back, focusing on yourself, and refusing to tolerate treatment that doesn't align with your worth. Now, this doesn't mean playing games or being manipulative. It means being honest with yourself about what you deserve and not settling for less. Respect starts with how you treat yourself. When you prioritize self-respect, others follow suit. The power of emotional detachment. The word detachment often gets a bad rap. People mistake it for indifference, like you're suddenly supposed to stop caring about anything. But emotional detachment isn't about being cold. It's about being in control. It's about staying grounded and not reacting impulsively based on how someone else behaves. Imagine being calm, composed, and unshakable, no matter what's thrown your way. That's emotional detachment, a skill, not a personality trait. When you detach emotionally, you stop giving people control over your feelings. You respond rather than react. This shift changes relationship dynamics almost instantly. You become the person in control of their energy, their peace, and their focus. And when you're centered, others can't help but notice. Detachment doesn't mean distancing yourself permanently from everyone. It means understanding that your happiness doesn't hinge on someone else's approval. You can care deeply and remain independent in your sense of self-worth. That is the ultimate freedom. Building inner confidence. True confidence doesn't come from external validation. It grows from within. It comes from daily actions and choices that align with the man you want to be. It's about showing up for yourself, doing the work, and proving to yourself that you're reliable, consistent, and capable. Confidence is something you earn, not wish for. Start small. Maybe it's sticking to an exercise routine, improving a skill, or setting small goals and following through. Each success builds momentum. Confidence grows when you decide every single day that you come first. Your health, your happiness, your goals. It's not selfish, it's necessary. Once you build confidence from within, something shifts. You stop needing external approval because you already know your value. People sense that. They're drawn to it. You become magnetic simply by being solid in who you are. Signals to know. It's time to walk away. Sometimes the hardest part of a relationship is knowing when to call it quits. You may feel torn between your emotions and your gut instincts, but ignoring the signals that it's time to walk away can leave you stuck in a cycle of pain and frustration. The truth is, if someone isn't valuing your presence, they don't deserve the privilege of it. One of the clearest signals that it's time to walk away is when actions don't match words. While someone may say all the right things, their lack of effort speaks volumes. Relationships require reciprocity. When you're the one always initiating, giving, or compromising, it's a sign that the balance has tipped too far in their favor. Take a step back and ask yourself if you're truly being appreciated or simply tolerated. Another key signal: how you feel in their presence. Are you constantly anxious, walking on eggshells, or questioning your worth after every interaction? A healthy dynamic should leave you feeling uplifted, not drained. Listen to your emotions. They're often the loudest indicators of what your mind can't admit yet. When respect, effort, and joy are missing, it's a neon sign that it's time to move on. Walking away is strength. Walking away is one of the most courageous decisions you can make. At first, it may feel like a loss, as though you're giving up or quitting. But here's the truth. It's an act of strength, not weakness. Walking away shows you understand your self-worth, and you refuse to settle for crumbs when you deserve the whole feast. When you decide to walk away, you reclaim your power. You are no longer waiting for someone else to validate you or set the standard. You're demonstrating that you value your peace and happiness above all else. This simple but bold act sends a powerful message, not just to others, but to yourself. It shows you have boundaries and the courage to enforce them, no matter how hard it may feel in the moment. Remember, walking away isn't about making someone miss you or teaching them a lesson. It's about prioritizing you. It's about clearing space for relationships, opportunities, and experiences that align with your worth. When you own your choice to leave, you step into a version of yourself that is stronger, wiser, and more self-assured. How to stay calm amid emotional chaos. When emotions run high, it's easy to spiral. Whether it's a heated argument, a breakup, or the chaos of unclear communication, staying calm feels like trying to hold back a tidal wave. But keeping your composure during emotional chaos isn't just possible, It's a skill that can be mastered. And once you do, it places you in the driver's seat of your own life. First, take a breath, literally. Slow, deep breaths signal your brain to step out of fight or flight mode, allowing you to think with clarity instead of reacting impulsively. This small pause can make all the difference, giving you the space to respond with logic rather than emotion. When the situation feels overwhelming, ground yourself by focusing on what you can control, your tone, your boundaries, and your decisions. It's also vital to remind yourself that your peace matters more than winning the argument or proving a point. Rising above the chaos isn't about ignoring your feelings. It's about preventing those feelings from making decisions for you. By maintaining calm, you not only protect your well-being, but also project a sense of strength and unshakable confidence. Mastering the art of silence may feel uncomfortable, but it's one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. Many men underestimate its value, rushing to fill gaps in conversations or situations with explanations, apologies, or justifications. But here's the thing, silence speaks louder than words when used intentionally. Mastering the art of silence can shift the dynamics in your favor, giving you the upper hand in almost any scenario. When used correctly, silence commands attention. It creates space for reflection, both yours and the other person's. Instead of reacting immediately or over-explaining, pause. This pause not only shows that you're composed and thoughtful, but it also gives others the chance to step up and meet you where you are. Silence also protects you. It stops you from saying things you might regret in the heat of the moment. It gives you time to process what's really happening and choose a measured response. And perhaps most importantly, silence fosters mystery. When you hold back instead of oversharing, you remain intriguing and unpredictable, qualities that naturally draw others toward you. Letting go without regret. Letting go isn't easy. It's natural to wonder if you're making the right choice or fear that you'll regret walking away. But what if letting go wasn't about loss? What if you reframed it as an act of self-love and an opportunity for something better? Because that's exactly what it is. The key to letting go without regret is to shift your focus from what you're losing to what you're gaining. When you release something or someone that no longer serves you, you're freeing yourself to move forward. Think of the energy, time, and emotional stress you'll reclaim for things that truly matter. Rather than dwelling on the past, redirect that energy into building the future you want. Most importantly, trust yourself. Regret often stems from second-guessing your decisions, but deep down, you know what's best for you. Instead of clinging to what-ifs, remind yourself of why you chose to walk away. Every ending marks a new beginning. By letting go, you're making space for growth, for clarity, and for what's meant for you. The void. After letting go, it's no secret. Letting go creates a void. One day, someone might be at the center of your thoughts, and the next, they're gone. That space can feel intimidating, even hollow. But here's the truth. The void isn't a hole to fill with quick distractions or rebound decisions. It's an opportunity. The void after letting go is where growth happens. It's where you sit with yourself and ask, who do I want to be now? Use this time to double down on your passions, your goals, and the relationships that sustain you. Reflect on what you've learned, not just about others, but about yourself. The void, uncomfortable as it feels, is where you transform pain into power. And don't forget, the void isn't permanent. The discomfort will fade, and in its place, you'll find a stronger, more self-assured version of yourself. Each day that you focus on self-improvement, the void shrinks, replaced by confidence, purpose, and fulfillment. Take this time to build the foundation for the life and the relationships you deserve. The comeback. Why they'll want more, here's. The beauty of stepping back and reclaiming your worth. When you walk away and focus on yourself, their perception of you changes. Absence doesn't just create distance, it creates value. When you're no longer chasing or readily accessible, people have no choice but to notice the space you leave behind. And trust this, absence speaks louder than words. Why do they want more of you when you remove yourself from the equation? Because you're demonstrating that your world doesn't revolve around them. You're showing independence, strength, and self-respect. These traits aren't just attractive, they're magnetic. The transformation you undergo while focusing on your growth makes you undeniably compelling. The energy shifts, and suddenly, you become the one they're vying for. This comeback is never about manipulation or playing games. It's about genuine self-improvement. When you invest in yourself, whether it's through fitness, skill building, or living a life you're truly proud of, that energy radiates. People are drawn to those who are thriving, not because you need them, but because you've tapped into your true potential. The glow-up is real, and it starts with walking away to focus on you. The Stoics' mindset in relationship stoicism may sound like a distant philosophy, but in practice, it's a game changer for relationships. At its core, Stoicism is about focusing on what you can control, your actions, your values, and your responses, and letting go of what you can't, like someone else's feelings or behaviors. When applied to relationships, this mindset creates clarity and freedom. One of the fundamental principles of Stoicism is understanding that your worth isn't determined by external factors. You don't need someone else's validation to feel complete. Instead, happiness comes from living in alignment with your values and maintaining healthy boundaries. For instance, you can show kindness and care, but when those actions aren't reciprocated, the Stoic doesn't stew or blame. They step back and recalibrate. Stoicism also teaches emotional resilience. Relationships come with inevitable ups and downs, but when you approach them with a Stoic mindset, you learn to weather the storms without losing yourself. Whether it's a disagreement, a breakup, or disappointment, you stay grounded. By releasing attachment to what you can't control, you gain the ultimate power over your peace of mind, reclaiming your energy, one of the fastest ways to drain yourself. Pouring all your time and emotional energy into trying to fix or control relationships that aren't serving you. When you focus outward, chasing others or molding yourself into what you think they want, you have nothing left to give to your own growth and happiness. That stops here. It's time to take back your energy. Start by identifying where your energy is going. Are you constantly texting or checking in without the same effort in return? Are you revisiting old arguments or obsessing over what went wrong? If the majority of your focus is on them, you're steering into emotional exhaustion. The fix: redirect that energy inward. Channel it into your passions, fitness goals, or career instead of giving it away freely. Reclaiming your energy also means setting clear boundaries. Learn to say no to situations or people that drain you. It's not about being harsh, it's about protecting your well-being. When you stop investing in unbalanced relationships, you create room for the right connections to flourish. You'll be amazed at how much lighter, stronger, and more focused you'll feel once your energy is yours again. Detachment as self-respect. Detachment is often misunderstood as giving up or shutting down your emotions. But here's what it really means. It's a powerful act of self-respect. Detachment allows you to care for someone without losing yourself in the process. It's choosing to walk away when your boundaries are crossed or your worth isn't recognized without bitterness or drama. When you practice detachment, you position yourself as someone who values their peace above all else. You're no longer willing to tolerate behaviors that undermine your self-esteem. By staying detached, you stand firm in your standards and refuse to bend for temporary convenience or fleeting emotions. This isn't about punishing anyone. It's about honoring yourself. The beauty of detachment is that it's liberating. You stop clinging to outcomes or seeking control because you know you'll be fine either way. When you can love without attaching your identity or happiness to someone else, you become unstoppable. Detachment is a mindset and a lifestyle, and it's the ultimate form of self-respect, the magnetic power of strength. There's something undeniably magnetic about a man who exudes strength, not just physical strength, but emotional and mental fortitude. When you're grounded in who you are and what you stand for, people notice. Strength isn't about dominating others or being unemotional. It's about being unshakable in your values while staying open-hearted and genuine. That strength comes from within. It's built through challenges, setbacks, and the daily practice of self-discipline. When you overcome difficulties without losing your cool, you radiate a calm confidence that draws people in. This kind of strength sets you apart. It shows that you're reliable, capable, and someone worth investing in. What makes strength so attractive is its steadiness. While others may be swayed by external pressures, you remain true to yourself. That's rare. Strength, especially when combined with kindness and self-awareness, makes you the person others gravitate toward. Not because you're chasing them, but because you're exactly the type of person they want to be around. Facing challenges with resolve life will test you. Relationships will test you. The question isn't whether challenges will come, they always do. The real question is how you face them. Challenges, especially in relationships, often invite emotions, like frustration, anger, or insecurity. But the Stoic approach teaches us to look at these moments differently. They're not roadblocks, they're stepping stones to your growth. When you face a setback or conflict, pause and ask yourself what it's teaching you. Maybe it's revealing an area where you lack patience, or perhaps it's pushing you to enforce a boundary you've been neglecting. Challenges are opportunities. They're reminders that you have the ability to stay grounded and respond with strength instead of reacting impulsively. It's through these moments that you truly build character. Resolve comes from refusing to give up in the face of adversity. Resolve is what keeps you moving forward, whether you're rebuilding after a breakup, redefining your standards, or pursuing self-improvement. Each time you refuse to quit, you reinforce the belief that nothing outside of you can shake your foundation. That is what makes you unstoppable, and that is what makes others stand up and take notice. The freedom of self-worth. Freedom. It doesn't get more liberating than living a life rooted in self-worth. When you understand your value, you stop seeking validation from others. You no longer need someone to confirm that you're enough because you already know it. This isn't arrogance. It's a quiet, powerful confidence that sets you apart. True. Freedom comes from prioritizing your happiness, making choices that align with your vision for your life, and refusing to settle for anything less. When you're in this mindset, rejection doesn't feel personal. Instead, it's simply a sign that something or someone wasn't right for you. Freedom is realizing that your worth isn't tied to someone else's opinion or actions. Living. With self-worth also means taking responsibility for your own happiness. Nobody else has the power to complete you. That's your job. The moment you tap into your own value and hold yourself to high standards, your life changes. Not only will you attract better relationships, but you'll notice how much lighter and more fulfilling life feels when you walk in your own power. The importance of boundaries. Boundaries are one of the most underrated but essential tools for self-respect. Without them, you risk being pulled in every direction, exhausting yourself to meet the demands of others. With them, you establish a clear framework for how you deserve to be treated and how far you're willing to go without compromising your peace or values. Healthy boundaries start with knowing your non-negotiables. What are you willing to accept in a relationship? What are your limits when it comes to time, energy, and respect? Once you identify these, communicate them firmly but respectfully. A boundary isn't about punishing someone else, it's about protecting yourself. And enforcing those boundaries shows that you take yourself, your time, and your peace seriously. Remember, boundaries aren't just about saying no to others. They're also about saying yes to yourself. By setting and enforcing them, you make space for healthier, more balanced connections. Others will notice and respect that you're not someone who compromises your value for convenience. That level of clarity is magnetic, positioning you as someone whose time and presence are worth earning. The role of consistency and confidence. Confidence doesn't happen overnight. It's a long game, built through consistency and discipline. Each time you make a decision that aligns with your goals or stick to a commitment you made to yourself, you're reinforcing trust in yourself. And confidence, at its core, is simply self-trust. Small, consistent actions over time snowball into the kind of confidence that feels unshakable. Whether it's hitting the gym regularly, following through on career aspirations, or sticking to financial goals, every little win boosts the belief that you're capable. The more you prove this to yourself, the more others will see it too. Confidence isn't just noticeable, it's deeply attractive. Consistency also separates the serious from the superficial. When you remain committed to your personal growth, you set yourself apart as someone reliable and disciplined, a rare combination that draws people toward you. Nothing speaks louder than a man who shows up for himself every day, without needing applause or recognition. That is the foundation of true, lasting confidence. Walking away is a declaration. Walking away isn't just an action, it's a statement. It's you saying, "I know my worth, and I won't accept less." It's easy to stay in a situation because it feels comfortable, or because you're afraid of what life looks like without it. But true freedom comes when you make the choice to leave anything that doesn't serve you. When you walk away, you're not begging for someone to change or hoping they'll chase after you. You're choosing yourself. You're choosing to prioritize your peace and growth over comfort or dependency. Walking away is one of the most empowering declarations of self-love you can make, and while it can feel lonely at first, it's ultimately liberating. The beauty of walking away is that it resets the dynamic. You're no longer chasing, pleading, or convincing. Instead, you're standing tall in your boundaries and showing others that you won't settle for anything less. That is the kind of strength that doesn't just attract attention, it commands respect. Becoming the pursued, not the pursuer. Here's the ultimate shift. When you stop chasing, you naturally become the one others pursue. Why? Because the energy you're putting into yourself transforms you into someone who doesn't just demand respect, you inspire it. You're no longer wasting energy trying to prove your worth. You've become the kind of person who radiates it. Being the pursued doesn't mean playing mind games or pretending not to care. It means genuinely focusing on your growth, goals, and happiness. When you're living a life you're proud of, others notice. They're drawn to your confidence, your passion, and the fact that you're not desperate for external validation. They'll wonder what's different about you, and they'll want to be part of your world. The magic is in your actions. Show up for yourself consistently, hold your boundaries firmly, and live in a way that aligns with your values. By doing this, you shift the power dynamic. You become the man who walks into any situation grounded in his value, attracting people who are willing to put in the effort to meet you there. Because when you value yourself, others have no choice but to want more of you. From here, the transformation is yours to own. You're no longer chasing, you're thriving. Who you become from this point on isn't just someone worth pursuing, it's someone worth admiring. And the best part? You did it all by prioritizing you.